Hey, how's it going everyone? It's Anthony from paintthemoon.org bringing you guys yet another portable vaporizer review. Today we're going to be looking at the newest unit from PAX Labs, the PAX 3. With the new improvements to the unit, I think we finally have the definitive PAX experience. To keep the review concise, short, and simple, we're going to break the review down into a few different areas. For starters, we're going to be looking at the build quality and portability, the oven capacity and efficiency, the vapor quality, the temperature control, the battery life and charging, and then finally we're going to wrap the review up with a pros and cons list and a little conclusion. This review will serve as a concise version of our full detailed written review. If you're interested in all the nuanced details of this device, be sure to read our full written review, which will be linked in the description below. Alright, with introductions aside, let's jump right into the review and look at the build quality and portability of the PAX 3. From the build quality and portability standpoint, this is the same PAX that you know and love. Not much has changed on the exterior of the unit or build quality wise. The PAX 3 is sporting a new mirror-like polished finish, which I personally find very attractive. With that said, however, it is a fingerprint magnet and it also picks up on scratches pretty easily. I believe the ultra small form factor of the PAX is one of the reasons why people really love this device so much from a portability standpoint. It's very easy to conceal it in your palm, and it's also easily fits like in any pocket or a bag without much of a fuss. It isn't stupidly long, wide, thick, or heavy, anything like that. It's just all around designed with portability in mind. The device is built really well, it doesn't rattle or anything when you're actually using it or shaking it. It's very solid and it definitely stands up to day-to-day use. The actual oven of the PAX 3 remains mostly unchanged from the PAX 2. The oven still handles about 0.3 or 0.4 of ground herb when fully loaded. This is okay with someone with a higher tolerance or someone who's vaping with some friends. However, the large oven could be a bit overkill for some solo users out there who only need a few nice straws to feel the full effects of their medicine. So with that, PAX Labs introduced the half-pack oven lid, which fills in a lot of the extra space in the oven. As some of you may know, conduction units like the PAX require an oven that's fully and tightly packed for optimal efficiency. The half-pack oven lid lets you skirt around that by being able to load about half the material that you would have to load otherwise without it. And what's good about that is PAX Labs doesn't have to compromise on the oven size. The person who still wants to vape 0.4 with their friends can still do it, but the person who's vaping by themselves can load a 0.1, 5, 0.2 at best. A new feature for the PAX 3 is the new concentrate insert. This allows you to turn a small rice-sized dap into a full vape session. The sessions are shorter, but I found you got more bang for your buck in terms of the amount of time you need to dedicate to a session. If you only have a short amount of time to vape, the concentrate insert is probably your best route. In this section, we're going to be looking at the vapor quality of the PAX 3. We look at the vapor production, the flavor, and the smoothness of the vapor. Vapor production will probably be the biggest benefit of the PAX 3 being a conduction heating vaporizer. You can expect to blow some pretty big clouds, especially at heat levels 3 and 4. While this is a conduction vaporizer, the flavor is pretty good. The oven doesn't stay at vaping temp the entire session. The oven goes into a standby mode during the intermissions in between hits. This preserves the flavor of your material, allowing it to achieve flavor that isn't possible with lower end conduction units. Smoothness would be another area that the PAX 3 excels at when compared to similar discrete portables. The oven is at the bottom of the unit, unlike most other discrete portables which have them at the top. The further away the oven is from the mouthpiece, the more time the vapor has to cool off, resulting in smoother vapor. In regards to temperature control and unit operation, this is arguably the biggest change to the PAX 3. We're looking at an increased heat up time, haptic feedback, and fully adjustable temperature control via the 100% optional smartphone app available for both iOS and Android. Let's start with the basic unit operation, which hasn't changed since the PAX 2. Like the PAX 2, the mouthpiece here does a lot of things and serves as the only button on the unit or means of control on the unit itself. For starters, powering on the PAX 3 is simple enough. Just press the middle of the mouthpiece and you'll see the unit's 4 front pedals begin to glow white. The unit will also vibrate, letting you know it's changed the state of power from off to on. This vibration is called haptic feedback, and this is a new feature to the PAX 3. From there, you can press and hold in the middle of the mouthpiece, which will bring up the temperature control mode. To adjust the temperature from here, just press the middle of the mouthpiece without holding it in to begin cycling through the 5 temperature settings. The PAX 3 comes with 4 temperature settings out of the box, ranging from 360 to 420 degrees Fahrenheit, as well as introducing a new 5th heat setting in which you can customize via the smartphone application. There are also some new heating profiles in which you can use to change the experience very greatly when vaping with the PAX 3. For starters, we have the boost mode. This eliminates a lot of the cooling down in between hits. It keeps the oven hotter for longer, allowing you to achieve much greater vapor production. This is very ideal for the concentrate insert when you're looking for the most heat possible to vaporize your oil. Next we have the efficiency mode. This mode gradually increases the temperature over a session, promoting the optimal efficiency of your herb. Next up we have Stealth Mode. This mode cools down the PAX 3 faster while in use, cutting down on the odor typically associated with conduction heating vaporizers. And finally we have Flavor Mode. For all intents and purposes, this makes the PAX 3 an on-demand conduction heating vaporizer. What this means is that the PAX 3 will only heat your herb while you're pulling air through it. Clouds won't be as dense, but you'll get the maximum flavor and smoothness from the device. The PAX 3 is sporting a slightly larger 3500 mAh battery compared to the PAX 2's 3000 mAh battery. I didn't personally notice a night and day difference between the two units battery life-wise, but the larger battery of the PAX 3 will lend itself better to having longer and more consistent battery life through the vape's life. Batteries degrade over time, and the larger battery of the PAX 3 will ensure that it stays consistent and reliable for day-to-day use. On average, I found I got anywhere from 5 to 8 sessions per battery charge depending on how you vape exactly. I found myself getting battery life closer to the 8 session mark with how I use my PAX. The battery is charged in about 2 to 3 hours on average depending on the power source. Personally, I'm still not a fan of the magnetic charger that's used to charge the PAX 3. I wish PAX Labs would use either a legitimate dock like the Firefly 2 has, or just give us like a micro USB, a USB Type-C port, really anything. This magnetic charger, at least maybe upgrade the magnets. It's not the end of the world, it's not like a deal breaker, but personally I think it's something that should be improved on in the future. So to conclude the review, I'm going to break down the good and the bad of everything into a short, concise pros and cons list. So let's start with the pros. I love the new fast heat up time. It only takes 15 seconds to get to the lowest heat setting, and it takes about 20 seconds to get to the highest heat setting. I love the long battery life, and it usually gets me well over a day's worth of usage. The small and discreet design is the reason why it's my go-to portable vape. I love the improved optional functionality from the smartphone app. I also love the fact that it's backwards compatible with most, if not all, PAX 2 accessories. And last but not least, I've been very happy with the new concentrate insert, and I think it's an overall great addition to the PAX 3 package. Now for the cons. The unit does get noticeably warm in the hand with extended use. I'm not a fan of the charging solution here. And lastly, while I find the exterior finish very gorgeous, it does attract a lot of fingerprints and scratches. In conclusion, before I got my hands on my PAX 3, I was really happy with the PAX 2. But the PAX 3 does bring in some welcome improvements that make the whole experience overall much better. The PAX 2 also dropped in price recently in response to the PAX 3. It's lacking the improvements in the new accessory suite of the PAX 3, but it's still a competent device at a really good price point and discreet form factor. You're getting a lot more bang for your buck with the PAX 3 for the same price that the PAX 2 was previously launched at. You're getting more accessories, a better heat up time, app functionality, haptic feedback, and increased battery life. Overall, a much better package than what was previously offered by the PAX 2. I hope this review helped you guys out. If you're interested in our full in-depth review of the PAX 3, be sure to check out the link below. Likewise, we'll also have a short written comparison comparing the PAX 2 and the PAX 3. The link for that also will be in the description. And that about wraps this review up. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this review or found it helpful. This has been Anthony from paintthemoon.org, and I'll see you guys in the next Vaporizer review.